Hi guys, is Reform UK finished? Well, that might be a bit premature, but it's certainly imploding at the moment, and the very public spat between the now former MP Rupert Lowe and the head of the outfit, Nigel Farage, is certainly not encouraging for a party that presents itself not just as the de facto opposition, but a government in waiting. There are two main problems with Reform. One is that it's run like a cult of personality, where Farage is the top dog because he's the majority shareholder, and second, that it's incapable of keeping disagreements behind closed doors. Someone who used to be a senior person within Reform, Ben Habib, explained here to Talk TV how certain individuals in the party are standing in the way of real progress.
I'm afraid, just listening to that, you said that I heard this statement before. I hadn't. The first time I heard it, Kevin, was you reading out right now. And what it says to me is Reform UK is not going to be able to bring this country away from the precipice on which we now stand. Nigel either needs to sack Zia Youssef and Lee Anderson if they made that decision on their own, or he needs to face up to absolutely poor decision-making in the face of legitimate criticism from Rupert Lowe. Kevin, I have watched hundreds of people with whom I have campaigned who put this party on the map while Nigel was nowhere to be seen, set aside by the same kind of accusations, sort of kangaroo courts that Reform UK has set up to cross-question, not even cross-question. They don't even cross-question. They make accusations, they decide someone's unfit to stand for office, they dismiss them. Hundreds of good people have been set aside by Reform UK. It doesn't make the news because none of these people have a public profile. They're the grassroots. They're the people who put the party on the map. They've been set aside by Zia Youssef and others, and under the leadership of Nigel. Nigel has a choice. This is actually a watershed. It's suddenly become a watershed for Reform UK. It didn't have to be this way, but Nigel has made it this way. He has a choice. Is he going to stand up for the United Kingdom, for the people of this country and the grassroots and the movement that created Reform UK and put him into office? Is he going to stand up for them? Or is he going to take some kind of politically expedient route that puts him at the center of attention all the time, but fails to deliver the country from the precipice on which it now stands?
I really don't understand how these people don't get it. They still don't get it. It's not a political party. It's a company with the majority shareholder being the leader. It's presented as a party, but it's not a party. When would people like Ben Habib and others wake up and realize this reality? Rupert Lowe is now realizing that reality. It's not a political party in the normal sense of the word. Look, Farage, I keep saying this, Farage uses political movements to boost his image, to increase his influence in society and in politics. It was the same with UKIP, the same with the Brexit Party, and now with Reform UK. These are vehicles for him. It's very Trumpian, actually. There is the head of the organization, a cult leader, and he will not be challenged in any way. Now, I think what happened with Rupert Lowe was Rupert Lowe became a bit too big for his boots. It's very telling because some months back, Nigel Farage was interviewed and he was asked about this guy here, Ben Habib, and he described Ben Habib as getting too big for his boots, becoming a problem. And I think this is the same with Rupert Lowe. Look, I don't know whether Rupert Lowe is guilty of what he's been accused of, but I think it's irrelevant because he became a problem. And what I mean by a problem is he's becoming more popular within Reform UK and outside Reform UK than Nigel Farage himself. Ben Habib sort of pointed to something here about how, we built up this party and Nigel was nowhere to be seen. Because Nigel doesn't care about the party. It's a vehicle for him. I keep saying this, and I still don't understand how these people don't understand that as well. It's not about Reform UK. It's about Nigel Farage. Look at Scotland, look at Wales. There is no Reform UK leader in either of those areas. There is only one leader, and it's Nigel Farage. Now, Ben Habib has asked before for an election for leader. Now, that's not going to happen, or it wasn't going to happen Well, it may change in the future, but it wasn't going to happen when Ben Habib was in charge, was part of the party, and it wasn't going to happen when Rupert Lowe was part of it. But now that those two individuals are out of the picture, it's possible that Farage could manufacture some sort of election where he knows that he's going to win it. But beforehand, definitely not. Because it's his baby. It's his party. It's his company. The last thing he wants is somebody like Rupert Lowe, undermining that authority. And the other thing about this is it's all very public. And I think it's public on purpose. It's about humiliating individuals. Because this could have been resolved behind closed doors. Some people point to this as, it's chaotic, it's a bunch of amateurs. And I agree to a certain extent there. But I think the humiliation of Rupert Lowe in public is by design. Because it's very Stalinist within Reform UK. We have to humiliate this guy because he's too big for his boots. He's an actual threat to Nigel Farage. If he wasn't a threat, I think it would have been just resolved behind closed doors. But I think because of his high profile, they had to publicly humiliate him. And because he's a threat to Farage himself. So I think this is the reason why it's so open and public. But on the other hand, this is going to damage Reform UK going forward. They're showing themselves as nothing but a bunch of clowns, chaotic. They keep describing themselves as the de facto opposition and a party just waiting in the wings to become the next government. I think this has certainly damaged their image. Now, I don't know if Reform UK's former MP Rupert Lowe is going to form his own party. He probably would get a significant amount of support, but I think it's going to be extremely difficult for him to do that. Reform UK is struggling. Someone on their own trying to start a party because of a lot of support online is not really going to work. So unless he remains as an independent or he joins another party, I don't know. But this is damaging for Reform. Farage probably thought this would help him in the short term. Or in the long term, I don't know, but it's. I think it's going to damage Reform significantly in a significant way. But it shows that it's a cult of personality. It's a company, and you can't really challenge Farage. He's in charge, and whatever he says goes. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.